Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video because it is going to be installment 2 of my ranking my entire makeup collection series. Today we are going to be ranking my entire foundation collection. I do currently have 24 foundations in my collection to rank with you guys today. I did do primers last week, so if you are interested in seeing that video, I will link that down below, my ranking makeup playlist. I also did all my categories last year, so I'll have as much as I can linked down below in case you're interested in seeing how I ranked my foundations last year. I did not go back and watch my video to see how I ranked last year, and I have accumulated quite a few new foundations since then. So if you are interested in seeing how my foundation collection ranks this year in 2020, then stay tuned. First, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave today. I do post a minimum of 4 times a week, so if that is something that interests you, then hit the red subscribe button before moving on. Other than that, let's just jump into this ranking video. Okay, couple updates. First, it's the never-ending saga of them ripping up my street and doing whatever to the street outside. So if you can hear the construction noises in the background, I do apologize. Second, this is totally random, but it's super nice outside today, so I can't wait to finish filming, and I'm gonna go for a nice long walk and then probably sit on my patio in my egg chair and plan some more YouTube videos. So that is what I'm gonna be doing with my day. What are you guys doing with your day? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Like always, I'm gonna start from my least favorite foundation and work my way up to the top. When we reach, honestly, like after the bottom 5 or 6 foundations, it was really hard to rank my foundations because I don't know what it is. I love foundation and getting to like use and cycle through my foundation collection. So I really do have a deep love for a lot of the foundations within my collection. My collection is a little aggressive right now at 24. I was down to 17 at the beginning of this year, and then it was like, buy all the foundations that you can. So that is why my collection has grown quite a bit. So let's start with my least favorite foundation. Can you guys guess it? If you're not new to my collection, if you're not new to my channel or my makeup collection, you probably are screaming at your screen which foundation this is. My least favorite foundation in my collection is this guy from Wander Beauty, which is such a bummer. I talked about this foundation in a video about makeup products I expected to love but then didn't, something along those lines. I really thought that this was going to be like my new holy grail when I purchased it. Kathleen Lights and Samantha March were recommending this, and usually I like what both of them recommend. I do have fairly dry skin, but I didn't think that this was going to be like on the mattifying side, and I feel like this just really accentuates any sort of dryness I'm having, and also makes pores just appear on my face. Like this is like a pore expanding foundation or a pore growing foundation. I don't know what it is, but this just does not look good on my skin. It just makes me look older, and I just don't like it. I'm working on panning this currently in my whole collection project pan, which is the reason I have not decluttered this guy yet. I am determined to finish this because I feel like I've given so many days of my life away to this foundation in not loving my makeup that I just have to finish this so I can count it as a makeup empty. That's like where my brain's at right now. I have found some foundations I can mix this with that I like it better with. I really like mixing this with my Dior Forever Glow foundation. I tried that for the first time a couple days ago and was like, wish I had tried this sooner. But overall, this just did not work for me, and definitely my least favorite foundation within my collection. Coming in at number 23, I have this one from Fenty Beauty. This was another one I expected I was really gonna like, and I thought that this was going to become a new favorite of mine. I really wanted to try Fenty's original foundation, but from what I had heard, that foundation was incredibly full coverage as well as very mattifying. Therefore, I knew it wouldn't suit what I'm looking for or suit my needs for a foundation, for what I'm looking for in a foundation. I usually like a natural, even like leaning slightly luminous foundation. I don't like a dewy foundation, but I like a natural medium coverage foundation is really my sweet spot. What I'll say about this is I feel like this is more full coverage than I was expecting it to be, and more full coverage than I usually like. I did get mine in the shade 150. This is like towing the line of too light even at my fairest. So for some reason I always buy my Fenty products too light. I did the same thing with the Pro Filter concealer, and it just doesn't make the situation any better. So the shade is a little bit too light. Yes, I can mix it with products that are, or foundations that are darker, and I can make it work. But this is one that it's a little more full coverage than I would like, but it's also very hydrating, very dewy, and can really toes the line of too dewy for me. Like, I feel like within 10 to 15 minutes of putting this on, if I don't set this with the powder, I'm getting the like greasy creases in my forehead lines, and it's creasing at my smile lines. I know a foundation is like too dewy if I get smile line creasing. Even set with a powder, I just have not come to love this. I thought about decluttering this one as well, but it's another one that I just for some reason really want to make work for me. But this is definitely one of my least favorites in my collection. Next up is this guy from Revlon, coming in at number 22. This is the Photo Ready Candid Foundation. I really wanted to love this, but unfortunately the wear time on this is just not there. This only lasts me like 5 hours before it really starts to wear away, and if I try and go much longer than like 7 or 8 hours, it's pretty much all gone. I do like the original finish of this foundation. Like right when I put it on, the first like couple hours, I think it is beautiful. It's right at my sweet spot of like medium coverage and just like a beautiful healthy finish to the skin. But unfortunately, just due to the wear time, I cannot repurchase this. I cannot make this work for me. I've also found recently I sometimes get where powder sits really weird on this, or even if I try to, like if I wear this foundation and I go in with a cream blush, for some reason it just picks up really weird and looks really weird, and almost like this forces the cheek product to pick up on my beauty blender. It's just not a good situation, and I've only had that issue when using this foundation. I am almost done with this, and again, I won't repurchase this when I finish this, unfortunately, just due to those couple of issues that I explained. So those three are really the only three foundations in my collection that I would say I don't really like. And again, the Photo Ready foundation, I really like it the first couple hours. This next one is just not something I would repurchase. It didn't become a favorite of mine, but I still think it's a nice foundation, especially for a drugstore foundation and drugstore pricing. This is from Rimmel London. It's their Lasting Finish 25-Hour Breathable. The reason I'm also might be ranking this so low is I just haven't worn this one in a while, so maybe I'm just favoring some of the others because I've worn them more recently. This is really nice for the summertime. It does have SPF 20, and it is really light on the skin. It's lightweight. It has a decent wear time. I would say maybe 7 to 8 hours before it really starts to wear away, but it wears away more gracefully definitely than the Photo Ready, and you do get longer wear time with this. This sets nice with the powder. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's just not something that became like a true I want to repurchase this when I finish it. That is why I'm ranking this at number 21. Coming in at number 20 is a lot of people's favorites, but this unfortunately just didn't work for me like I feel like it has worked for others. This is from L'Oreal. It's their Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is another one that I feel like just makes me look like it accentuates my pores or makes my pores look larger than they are. I definitely have to pair this with a pore filling or a smoothing primer, but I also like to pair this with a primer that is hydrating at the same time, because this is one, if I do not prep my skin well, I just hate the way that it looks on me. If I prep my skin well, I think this is a nice foundation, beautiful, and lasts all day. This, it's funny because this is one of my lesser favorite foundations, but I always get compliments from people at work when I wear this to work. Everyone compliments my skin, at least one person every time I wear this, which I thought is really funny because this just isn't a favorite of mine personally, not one I would repurchase. I do overall like L'Oreal foundations. I think for the drugstore, L'Oreal is my favorite brand when it comes to foundation, but this would be number 20 in my ranking. Coming in at number 19, this foundation, again, is a nice foundation, just not one that became like a top favorite that I want to repurchase when I'm finished. It's from Clinique. It's their Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum with SPF 15. This says it evens and corrects your skin. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this has some skincare benefits to it. I would would say this is a light buildable to medium coverage foundation, and it is really lightweight on the skin. It doesn't offer the best wear time, and to me it's just nothing special, which is why I'm ranking it at number 19. Not a bad foundation by any means. I should have no issues finishing this up. I do have mine in the shade CN10, which is perfect for me when I'm at my fairest. Sorry if I have not been saying my shades for each of these. I will try to do so as we move along. This is good for me at my fairest. This is a foundation I will say I really like as a mixing foundation. If I have a foundation that's a little bit too dark, I toss this in and mix it, and I think it works really nice. I've tried this with the Bonder Beauty and it wasn't the perfect mixer, but I have found myself using this as a mixing foundation quite a bit, so that is my thought on the Clinique Even Better. Next up is a foundation that I really liked when I first got it, but I feel like, you know, as many foundations have released, remember last summer when like every brand out there was releasing a new foundation? As new foundations have come out, this just is no longer a favorite and not one I would repurchase. So coming in at number 18, I have the Dior Face and Body. This one is nice. I like this in the summertime. It's a good summertime foundation for me. It is more like light medium coverage and very light on the skin, which I appreciate, but it's the wear time on this that I feel like is pushing this down in the ranks. I just feel like past the 7 or 8 hour mark, again, I don't get a great wear time on this. This is one that wears away pretty gracefully, but I do like a foundation that's going to last me at least 9 to 10 hours, because typically when I'm at work, I'm working 10 plus hours, so I need to have a foundation that I can trust while I'm at work. And this is one that I just more so save for like weekends, maybe errands, if I'm going out to like dinner with my husband and I just want like a light coverage, or if I'm running errands. Sometimes I'll wear this to the gym as well. But this is my number 18. Coming in at number 17, this foundation I know ranked really high last time around, and the reason I'm ranking it lower this time around is because you can no longer get this, and I feel like I probably just had mine in my collection too long. I don't love it as much as I once did, but this used to be like one of, if not my favorite foundations. It's the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I have mine in the shade 710. I think I forgot to mention I have my Dior Face and Body in the shade 1CR, which is a little bit peachy tone, more like peachy pink toned than most of my foundations. It's an okay shade match, but So I have the Vitalist Healthy Elixir in the shade 710, which is good when I'm like not my fairest, but like not this self-tanned. This is just thicker than I remember. It does have SPF 20, and it has like a sunscreeny scent to it. I feel like part of the reason I'm ranking this lower is because I haven't reached for this one in a little bit. I feel like I'm going to pull this back out and use it and be like, girl, you freaking love this foundation. Why the heck did you rank it so low? It doesn't matter anymore though, because unfortunately this has been discontinued. So that's another reason I'm ranking it so low, because I'm mad at CoverGirl for discontinuing this, because this was like a favorite foundation. I do think CoverGirl does foundation really well, or used to. Ooh, used to. Not a huge fan of the CoverGirl Coconut Milk, the one that they recently released. Not a huge fan. As you can see, this shade is way too light for me at this tan, but you can't get this anymore. I don't know why I'm talking about the shade. Okay, talking about that color from CoverGirl foundation actually reminded me that I have 25 foundations in my collection, and this would actually have been my least ranked, even below the Wander Beauty. I had set this aside because I'm decluttering this foundation, but I suppose since I still have it, I'll talk to you guys about it now. So this would be my least favorite foundation that is in my current collection, and I am decluttering this one. This is from CoverGirl. It's their Clean Fresh Skin Milk, their most recent foundation. This, I haven't had any sort of skin irritation with this like I know some people have, but this is like the lightest coverage ever, like almost doesn't even offer coverage, but then it's like so dewy that it sinks into literally every line. I couldn't even powder this fast enough before it started settling. It makes me look worse to put this on than if I just went foundationless. I've tried this with other primers too to see if I could make this work. Nothing really helped. I also thought about keeping this around as a mixing foundation, but it just doesn't even really mix well. So that's why I'm just decluttering this. That's why I forgot about this, but this would be my least ranked. Like I would wear the Wander Beauty over this any day, which is saying something. Coming in at number 16 is this one from NARS. This is the Sheer Glow. And I think that this is a nice foundation. It's just like middle of the road for me. It's just like, eh. And this, I believe, is $47. So for $47, I want something that I'm truly going to love. I have some foundations that rank higher that are very expensive, but I love the effect that they give to the skin. I have this one in the shade Light 3 Gobi, which is really light. And this one is only going to work for me at my absolute fairest unless I mix this with something, but it is a beautiful finish, I will say. I think with NARS, I always struggle to find a good shade match as well. And I will say this is more than like a sheer glow. It gives a nice natural luminosity to the skin, but it definitely offers more of like a medium coverage in my opinion. Again, like this is nice. I just don't think I would pay $47 again for this. So that is why I had to rank it at number 16. Okay, now we're at number 15, and I gotta say, 15 and up, like I really do love these foundations for one reason or another, so it was really hard for me to rank them, and I'll try and give my explanations as we go along. It was really hard for me to do this, but coming in at number 15, I have my YSL Touche Éclat All-in-One Glow. This is really expensive, and if I'm not mistaken, the shade range on this maybe is like 12 or something, but it says fresh dewy makeup, natural medium coverage, long-lasting hydration. It definitely gives a luminous finish to the skin. I wouldn't say dewy because I don't really have issues with this settling or looking like really greasy. Sometimes dewy toes a thin line with dewy and greasy. Like I've had some real issues with dewy foundations, and I think this is just a beautiful luminous finish. It is definitely more of like light to medium. I don't think you can build much past medium without probably having issues with it starting to look pretty greasy. It is very lightweight, which I really like. I have mine in the shade, what shade do I have? I don't know that it says BR30. Is that a shade? I don't know if that's a shade or... Ooh, this expires 7/20. I need to use this before July. This has SPF 23 in it. This is one I really like for the summertime. I got it in my more summer shade. As you can tell, this one would match me a little bit better. I love this. If I'm just running errands in the summer, I can just pop this on with some light concealer, light makeup. This is one I have worn to work, and I feel like when I reach that 7 or 8 mark, it really does start to wear away, which is why I'm ranking this a little bit lower, but I really do love this, you guys. I think it is a beautiful finish. It's really just the price tag, I think, that would deter me from possibly buying it again. I might in the future. I don't know. It depends. It's just so expensive, but it is so beautiful. So this is my number 15. And then coming in at number 14 is this one from ColourPop. This is the Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid tinted moisturizer. This and the YSL one were basically tied, but because this one is so much less expensive, that is why I ranked this one here. This one is really nice, again, for a nice light tinted moisturizer. They do have a good shade range for tinted moisturizers, in my opinion, and you really can't beat the price point. I think this was like $14 or $16, and you are getting 1.45 fluid ounces. This also is a really nice mixing agent. Like if you mix this with, like if I mix this with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro 24-hour fresh wear foundation, I get a little bit more lasting power because of mixing it with like a more mattifying foundation, but then it still offers sort of a healthy glow to the skin. So I like that this one mixes well. I really have nothing bad to say about this. This is definitely something I would consider repurchasing in the future, especially because I like to have a couple of tinted moisturizers lying around. This one's really nice for the gym. I always like to have a nice tinted moisturizer for the gym, and I was impressed by this one from ColourPop. Next up is this one from Laura Mercier. This is their new formulation of their tinted moisturizer, and even though this is way more expensive than the ColourPop one, I had to rank it above the ColourPop just because there is something about the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer that I just love. Every time I wear this, I get compliments on my skin. It just gives the most beautiful, fresh, youthful looking appearance to the skin, and it offers a little bit more coverage than your average tinted moisturizer, in my opinion. It has SPF 30, which I really appreciate. Wear time, if I set this with a powder and if I use a really gripping primer, I can get this to last most of a day at work. I mean, as we start to leave, you can see some of it starting to gracefully wear away, but it gracefully wears away. And I know this is an expensive product, but I really, really love the tinted moisturizer from Laura Mercier. So that is why I ranked it, I think, at number 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, no, 13. Next up is another one that I really do like, but for whatever reason, I just like the 12 that are above it a little bit more. So coming in at number 12, I like the 11 more that rank above it a little bit more. Coming in at number 12, I have this one from Bite. This is their new Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation. This is a really beautiful foundation, and what I love about this one is it is a little bit more mattifying, but your skin still looks really healthy, and it doesn't make my skin look dry. It doesn't cling to dry patches, and I've really just had really good luck with this. I know that there has been some mixed reviews on this foundation, some really good ones and some really not so great ones, but for me, I have really enjoyed this. I have mine in the shade L15. Sorry, I keep forgetting to say my shades. I have 2C1 blush in the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer, which is a really good kind of in between like tan and fair for me. And then I have L15 in the Bite Beauty Changemaker, which is more of like a fair shade for me. This one I do find also mixes really well. Sometimes I'll mix it with the Drunk Elephant Deep Bronzy Sunshine Drops to give it a little bit more depth or make it a little bit more deep to kind of match a self tan. And I find that this mixes really, really well. This also has really, really great lasting power. I was gonna say I also like to pair this with the Bite powder that came out with this. Those two, that pairing just makes your makeup last all day long with no concerns, and I think this is really nice. I think this is one that would work for a lot of skin types. If you are super dry, I would make sure you go in with like a very hydrating primer and make sure like you really nailed it with your skincare routine that day, because I can find that this, if I don't go in with a hydrating primer, can look a little bit dry or make my skin look just a little bit flat. But paired with some glowy products, I do really enjoy this one, and I think this is a really nice one from Bite Beauty. Okay, coming in at number 11, this is like, I love this for certain aspects, but the finish is not like my absolute favorite of my entire foundation collection, but I will always have this in my collection. Can you guys guess? Can you guys guess what I'm about to say? The It Cosmetics CC Cream in the illuminating version. I also have gone through a full size of the original. I definitely prefer the illuminating. The original can make me look a little bit aged and just kind of like takes something out of my skin, whereas this still has that healthy illuminating aspect to it without being greasy. This has SPF 50, and I say this every time I mention this product. This has never done me dirty when I've used this as my face sun protection. I cannot tell you the last time my face has been sunburned. I think the only part of my body that has truly been burned in the last couple of years is my shoulders, but protected my face from the sunburn wrinkles. I haven't always done this. I am very ashamed to say in college I would literally tan every day on my walk home. I lived very close to a tanning salon, and there's just something about like bronzed skin that makes me feel beautiful. And back in the day, I thought that you were cheating if you used self tanner. And then thank goodness I found the YouTube world and realized that all that sun damage is indeed making me wrinkle faster and possibly giving me skin cancer. So I stopped going to the tanning bed and I've started to just use self tan. I totally lost my train of thought with this. Oh, every time I wear this, never a sunburn on the face. I use this or wear this all summer long, especially if I'm going to be outdoors, because again, it has never done me dirty. I anticipate I will finish this summer because I know how much I reach for this in the summertime, and I will replace. Again, this is something I will always have in my collection. If I travel, this is always in my travel bag. I bring this with me everywhere. This is my best friend in the summer. So I definitely love this one from It Cosmetics. But again, the finish isn't my absolute favorite. It is definitely more, I would say it's like a medium coverage, but there's just something about, like, I almost feel like every shade I've tried, which I have mine in the shade Light, and I have the lightest, I think Fair Light in the original. There is something about the shades that almost pulls a little ashy or a little bit gray and I just don't love that, and I just feel like it makes me look slightly aged, so I have to be very careful with the other products that I use to kind of bring something back to my face. But again, I will always repurchase and always have this in my collection. Okay, the next two that I'm gonna mention were basically tied. Like, this was like, they were neck and neck. I'm still looking and I'm like, I don't know. So coming in at number 10 is a foundation that I really truly do love. I really do love this one. I just, for some reason or another, it's really hard, but I love the 9 that are ranking about this just a little bit more. But this is from ABH, and this is the Luminous Foundation. This is really, really beautiful, especially if you like a healthy, luminous glow to the skin. I feel like if you have normal to dry skin, you're definitely gonna like this a lot better than someone with oily skin. I feel like this probably is not going to work that well for someone with oily skin unless you use a really mattifying primer and really powder your face, because this does struggle with wear time a little bit. Like, even with me and dry skin, the wear time on this is not the best. I would say I get a good 7 hours with this. I would say I get a good 7 hours with this, and then it really does start to wear away. Set with a powder, I do get a little bit longer, but that is a struggle with this foundation, which is why I'm ranking it where it is. This is beautiful though. I love to take this traveling with me, and I wear this every time my husband and I go out to eat. I don't know, it's something about like 3 hours out and about, just like, it's so beautiful the first few hours. And then like I said, when you start to get to like the 7 or 8 hour mark, you definitely do see it start to wear away, but it is such a beautiful finish in the beginning, and I really do like this one. I would repurchase this when I finish this. I have mine in the shade 150W, which is a really great shade range, which is a really great shade match for me when I am fair. It wouldn't necessarily match me now. I feel like eventually I'm gonna have to like rehaul my entire foundation collection, because I feel like I've been self-tanning so much more lately. I feel like I can't use like the majority of my foundation collection unless I mix, but I love this one. I think it's beautiful. I just love a few more in my collection a little bit more. So then coming in at number 9, this was almost a tie, but I just like this one a hair more. This is from YSL. It's their Touche Eclat Radiance Awakening Foundation. This does have SPF 22. This is just so beautiful. I have mine in the shade BR30, which I think actually was the exact shade I had in this too, but very interesting. This one's a lot darker than this one. What I will say about this is this shade is really great for me when I am fair or like a hint of tan. I do think I have more of a cool toned complexion, and this is nice because this has a really nice cool tone finish, or like it's a cool tone that I feel like works. Sometimes cool tone foundations can end up pulling really weird on me, but I feel like this is a really, really nice shade match for me when I have this on. It gives the most beautiful luminous finish to the skin. I just feel like you can't beat the beautiful luminosity that this gives, except for with possibly one exception that I'll be talking about a little later. But this is beautiful. This is an expensive foundation, but I know I would repurchase this, which is why I want to rank it in my top 10. Really love it. There's nothing bad I really have to say about this. I know that this is like the reformulated version, and I've heard the original was a little bit better, so maybe thankfully I never got to try that, because maybe then I wouldn't love this one as much, but I'm so happy to have this in my collection. Coming in at number 8, this is very new to my collection, but I have been in love since the first time I've used this. This is from Ilia Beauty. It is their Super Serum Skin Tint with SPF 40. I'm really excited to put this to the test, kind of take a little risk when it's really sunny out and see if the SPF works as well on this as it does with the CC cream, the IT Cosmetics one. I would still always own both in my collection because the CC cream definitely offers more coverage than this. I have mine in the shade ST4, I think it is, and this is a really nice shade match for me when I am like a little bit lighter than this, but not fair. I am like freshly self-tanned right now, maybe at like the midweek mark after a self-tan. This works really well. This is one that you can easily manipulate with the Drunk Elephant Debronzy drops to make it darker if you need to though. And this is just a really cool formula. It comes out in a dropper, and yeah, it's definitely too late for me right now, but it's a very, very liquidy formula. You rub it in, it offers just like the slightest amount of coverage, but just does such a beautiful job of evening out your skin tone and gives a very subtle glow to the skin that just makes your skin look healthy, look fresh, look alive, and it almost doesn't look like you're wearing makeup. This is definitely a no makeup product. I think it's beautiful for running errands, for the gym, at like just around the house. It's such a stunning product. I've really been getting along with this one. I definitely recommend it from Ilia Beauty. This is just a tried and true OG, and I love this foundation. I will always own this in my collection. It's a drugstore favorite. Coming in at number 7, I know this one ranked higher last year, but I've just really fallen in love with some foundations this past year. This is from L'Oreal. It's their Infallible Pro Glow. Such a beautiful foundation if you like a glowy finish to the skin. This one lasts a decent amount of time. I would say like 7 to 8 hours, again, before it really starts to wear away. Sets really nicely with the powder. I have mine in the shade 202, which has always just been the best shade match for me. I think self-tanned it's going to be a little bit too light, but I freaking love this foundation. I recently finished up my Pro Matte, which is why I'm not currently talking about it, but that is another one that I really love and do plan to repurchase. Pro Glow, you can't go wrong if you are looking for a nice drugstore foundation for a medium healthy glow to the skin. For a medium coverage healthy glow to the skin, that's exactly what you're going to get from the L'Oreal Pro Glow. Love this. This has just been like one of my babies. I've been using this since I basically started my makeup journey. I've gone through probably 6 or 7 tubes of this, even owning so much foundation, so that says a lot about this foundation. Coming in at number 6, this makes me so upset because you can't get this anymore. This is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, the illuminating one. I am so upset that they don't have the illuminating. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm fairly confident they don't have the illuminating one anymore, and I am so upset about it because this gives the most beautiful glow to the skin. I always get compliments on my skin when I wear this. It just evens out your skin tone and gives you this beautiful glow. It works really well with makeup, especially cream products, just to give you just like a lightweight, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, like a no makeup lightweight look. It just works so well with cream products. This is my go-to in the summer. I wear this to work. It lasts a good amount of time at work if I set stuff with a powder. I love this, and I'm so sad that I don't think I can get this anymore. My goal is to finish this off this year. I probably have like a 1/4 of this left. I'm gonna be so sad when this is done, but this would definitely be my number 6. All right, we are into the top 5. Again, I've really loved all my foundations as we've gotten to like the 15 mark, which is crazy. Just love foundation so much. But coming in at number 5, I have this one from Too Faced. This is their Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation, and Comfort Matte is exactly what you're getting with this. I don't love a matte foundation, but I really enjoy this. If I need a foundation that is going to last me a good 10 to 12 hours, this is what I'm going to reach for. I have mine in the shade Warm Nude, which is my perfect self-tan shade. I got this specifically to be able to wear in the summer when sometimes like the sun and the heat just makes my skin melt, or my foundation melt a little bit quicker. This is a really good one for me to wear to work too. It definitely offers more medium to full coverage, so sometimes I'm not necessarily looking for that, but I will mix this too, like with my L'Oreal Pro Glow. I will mix the two so that I get a little bit longer wear time, but also get that glowiness, but also get the glowiness that the Pro Glow offers and kind of sheer out the coverage a little bit on the Too Faced Peach Perfect. But this is just a beautiful foundation. I would say it's more satin matte because it does have that comfortability, and it's not going to completely strip the life out of your skin. It's not going to make your skin look super flat, and you can pair this with some really beautiful glowy products if you want to add that glow back into your skin. This will last such a long time. It's a great foundation. I'm really happy that I picked this one up from Too Faced. You also are getting, I think, 1.6 fluid ounces in this, whereas a standard foundation is 1 fluid ounce. So it's also a really great value and one that I definitely recommend. Coming in at number 4, this is newer to my collection as of this year, but I have owned this foundation in the past. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. I love this foundation. It lasts a really good amount of time, but it also makes my skin feel really hydrated. This one I would say is more of a natural finish. It doesn't give a real dewy luminosity to the skin, but it's really nice when you find a hydrating foundation that lasts, and that is what this is going to do for you. I would say this is a medium coverage foundation, and again, set with a powder, you're going to get even longer wear time. Lately, I've just been always setting my foundations with the powder. I just like that extra lock of protection. But even without powder, this looks beautiful. Again, I love to wear this one with cream products as well. It just gives such a beautiful health to the skin, and I think that this is a really great one from Smashbox. All right, you guys, we are into my top 3 foundations. Do you feel like you can guess the order? One of these, I don't know if you guys even know that I have. I've owned it in the past, and I recently picked it up again. Starting with number 3, I have the Dior Forever Skin Glow. I love the Dior Forever formula. I was very excited when I saw that they came out with a glowy version because I loved their old Dior Forever Skin, but that was more of like a satin matte finish. This is so beautiful. I will say that this one with wear time you're not going to get as much wear time with this as you are with the Dior Forever, like the matte version, but this gives the most healthy, stunning luminosity to the skin without being dewy or like greasy. And it also offers like medium, like towing the line of maybe almost full-ish coverage, but it just looks like your skin but better. It's so beautiful. I have mine in the shade 3N, which is like my summer shade. I definitely wanted this as a summer shade. I freaking love this foundation. This is one that I will always want to have in my collection because I think it's so stunning. Again, I like to mix this one with the Wander Beauty foundation because it sort of helps make the Wander Beauty foundation look a little bit more glowy. And this is just a beautiful foundation all around. I love this one from Dior. Coming in at number 2 is another favorite. I've gone through multiple bottles of this, and I recently repurchased this one. It's the Too Faced Born This Way. I have mine currently in the shade Almond, which I feel like is the best shade match that I have found thus far. Probably a little bit too light for my self tan, but really, really beautiful when I'm at like fair or like a little bit more than fair. This is just such a beautiful foundation. Again, medium to full coverage. This is one that is more of like a satin matte or comfort matte in my opinion. But I've heard people say that they think it's more of like a dewy. I think it's like a satin matte that gives like a healthy luminosity to the skin. It's very bizarre. Like, how can something be luminous but at the same time be like satin matte? It's so beautiful. This will last you all day long, 12, 13 hours. If I had a wedding to go to, this is likely the foundation that I would choose, either this or my number 1. I just think this is so good. This is another one that I will always have in my foundation collection because it's never done me wrong. I think it's beautiful. Definitely recommend this one from Too Faced. And then coming in at number 1, you guys, I recently picked up the Dior Forever. I didn't know if this was reformulated or just repackaged, but it does remind me a lot of the original formulation of the Dior Forever, where it's like a satin matte finish. Again, kind of medium, towing the line of full coverage. You could definitely build it to a full coverage. I have mine in the shade 2CR, full toned aspect to it. I think this is really a good shade match for me. Again, maybe like a little bit too light right now, but it's just such a stunning formula. Again, satin matte lasts all day and just gives the face just such a beautiful, healthy look without stripping the skin of the oils, but still being a more matte foundation. It doesn't take the life out of your skin. There are some matte foundations where it's like, I have never looked drier. And then there's this where it just is the perfect base, and then you can either go with, matte products and it'll look more matte, but still offer like that healthy skin look to your skin, or you can pair it with glowy products and you're going to get that beautiful, healthy luminosity that I keep talking about. If you're playing a drinking game where I'm mentioning the words healthy luminosity, you're probably like dead right now. So I apologize, but those are just the types of foundations that I love, and clearly I have a lot of them in my collection. This, thank goodness, is like the original foundation because that Dior Forever was my favorite, and I was so nervous that it was going to be completely different, but I think this is pretty much the same, and I love this. I have loved this since I purchased this like 2 or 3 years ago. This one is obviously brand new, but the other one. So very happy to have this. This is one that I will also still always own in my collection. When I finish this, I will repurchase. So that is it. Whew, I feel like this is gonna be like a 40-minute long video. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video. Let me know your top and bottom foundations within your collection, or like the worst foundation you have ever tried. I would love to hear your answer to that. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and supporting my channel, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.